Hello Oakhurst and surrounding areas. My name is Chef Robert over at the Elderberry house at Chateau du Sureau. And today I know a lot of you are stuck at home and wondering what to cook, what's for dinner. Well, today we're going to explain a soup that's located on our to-go menu. We're offering curbside to-go menus Monday through Friday. Pickup is from 2 to 7 o'clock every day. But we're going to go ahead and show you one of these, and then hopefully Wednesday and on we're going to actually sell kits of this soup so you can make it at home and follow along with the video. So today, like every soup, we're going to start off with the basis of onions. So your onions dictate a lot of your caramelization, your flavor throughout the soup. So today, because we have a dark ingredient like carrot, we're allowed to get a little more caramelization on the actual ingredients. So today's onions we're going to put in here. So I'm using sunflower oil. We also like algae oil. We have a variety of them, but sunflower has the lightest amount of flavor when it comes to cooking, so it's something we really prefer. We're doing yellow onion or white onion work. Red onion can work, you'll just get a little more color at the end. So we're going to put these in, and we're just going to gently stir these around. Again, you don't want a ton of caramelization, you don't want black at all, because black or burnt will translate into bitterness at the end. So we're going to go ahead and keep these stirring. You don't have to be too crazy on getting them nice and evenly cooked, but be sure to chop your onions and your carrots into equal size. So as these are sauteing, I'll show you that we have a general size, because when you cook a soup, you want it to evenly cook throughout. Now, you can have a little bit of variety, but it's more of the thickness you're going to. Now, you can be equally precise as you want, so it's your discretion. So our onions are sauteing. Very important with soups is to season as you go. One of the tricks in the restaurants is we always try to season throughout the process, so at the end we don't have to go all the way from zero salt to full salted. So today we're just going to put a little bit of medium kosher salt, just a pinch or two, just to really kind of get the onions seasoned. You want just a little bit of seasoning on that. We have mild caramelization happening on the bottoms, but really what you're looking for is a little bit of translucency in the onions. That will mean that all the acidity is broken down into somewhat of a sugar, so it'll make it nice and sweet. Now that our onions are nice and caramelized, again, you can do that to your discretion. We're going to add a little bit of this cubed ginger, even pieces again. We will have the recipe available online with all the increments. And we're going to add the ginger in there. The reason why we put it in with the onions is to kind of let it bloom a little bit and get its maximized flavor. A little caramelization will again turn the acidity in the ingredient into sugar. It'll make the carrot soup a nice consistency and flavor. Alright, now that we've sauteed our ginger and onion mixture a little bit, we're going to add our carrots. 5 carrots. I have everything on the recipe online in grams in case anybody wants to be very particular. And now we're just going to give them a nice, even saute. Being sure to just stir generally. Make sure you get a little caramelization on the tips. You want a little bit of tenderness from the onions, the ginger, and carrot. Alright, again, like we were explaining earlier, you're going to want to season throughout the process, so now that we've added the carrots, just a little bit of salt. The reason why we do this is if anybody's burnt toast at home, your senses acclimate to that smell. Somebody comes in later and they say, oh, it smells like burnt toast, and you don't even realize it. Well, what happens is your nose puts that smell aside so it can take in new smells while you're cooking. Well, your tongue can actually do the same thing. So if you taste the soup multiple times unseasoned and you're trying to get it to season, what's going to happen is your palate's going to get used to some of those tastes, and as you correct with salt, it's going to variate because you've tasted it so many times. So if you season throughout the process of the soup, it'll help you with the final product being able to calibrate your seasonings a little bit more precise. It's one of the benefits of being a chef, because our cooks will present stuff to the chef and we have the final say of seasoning, but we always we haven't tasted it. So it's nice to kind of get that new taste into everything. So we've got some good caramelization on our onions, carrots, and ginger. And now we're going to deglaze with the 2 quarts of water. Filtered water preferred, because you just don't want any contaminants. Sometimes the pH levels can be different in things. And bottled water or filtered water usually remains the same pH. So we're going to stir this around. We're going to add our coconut base, which we're using a coconut can that you can find in any stores. Ours is a little bit more particular, but we have the cream portion and the milk portion. You can kind of see it's a little mixture right there. And this is the sweetness in your soup, but also will bring a little savory to it. So we're going to add this in. It's about 2 cups. And then we're going to stir this up as well. And then again, because we added the coconut and we added the water, we're going to adjust the seasoning one more time and let this cook. Now when you're boiling a soup, if it's a chunky soup, you want to make sure you pay attention to your ingredients and make sure they're not overcooked. With a blended soup, as we have today, you just want a nice even heat. You don't want any violence in your water at all. You want a nice steady cook, so each component, the onion, the ginger, and the carrot, cook out evenly. And when you blend the ingredients, you don't have a variation of cooked fibers. So you don't have raw fibers and you don't have overcooked fibers. You want this nice gradual cook throughout. So we're going to let this simmer for about 20-30 minutes until everything is nice and tender. You do not want to reduce your liquid. You just want to keep it nice at a gradual simmer the entire time. And we'll be right back to blend the soup. So we've cooked our soup. It's rendered and simmered about 20 to 30 minutes until the carrots are nice and tender. So now we're going to blend. Now here's the biggest trick about blenders. There are choppers and then there's blenders. And this is a Vitamix. This is what makes us fine dining. This is the difference that sets us between other restaurants and other home cooks and so on and so on. The Vitamix is very expensive, but it does a very good blend on it. It makes it nice and smooth and puree. The second part of fine dining soups is we have what is known as a chinois. Chinois is a strainer. The ingredients come in here and then all the liquid comes in here. Any residual fiber or particles are going to get trapped in this, leaving you a nice velvety textured soup. So we're going to blend. Now with every blending a hot item, just be very, very careful at home. It can splash up. If you go straight to high, there's a lot of pressure and steam in every situation with hot ingredients going into a blender, so be very, very careful. We blend soups every day here, so it's kind of common practice, but just be very safe at home. So we're going to take scoops of our mixture and set them in the blender. So what you want to do is a nice mixture of both ingredients and liquid. You want to make a nice little blend in the blender top. They say to go about 2/3, half to 2/3 full. Now, the steam is going to be forced out of the top of this, so I recommend always when blending hot having a towel handy and being able to start on low. Blender is like your own body. This is like kind of treat it like that. So I always tell the cooks in our kitchen that you're not going to go out to the track and field and run full speed. So make sure that you gradually lift it up to blend all the way to the top and then gradually go back down. That'll maintain longevity for your blenders and you'll get along with your blender a little bit better. So we're going to go all the way high. happen to have a turbo on mine. For demonstrational purposes, we're not going to blend very long, but you should always blend a minimum of 5 to 10 minutes every time. It's going to fully tear down all the ingredients in the blender. You're going to get all the nutrients, you're going to get all the flavors, everything will come out. So make sure you blend very, very long. Now that our blending is done, we're going to strain it through the chinois. You can kind of see it's a nice texture here, kind of similar to a soup. Now, there might be some residual fibers in corners, there might be particles from not cooking it enough. That way the chinois ensures that everything has been strained. So we're going to force it through here. As you can see, it just drops out of the bottom. And we're going to just dry pulp that through. And as you can see, there's a little bit of fibrous. So this is very, very important in making a nice smooth soup, because this would be inside of your soup, but we're just going to press it through by dry pulping. Now, for demonstrational purposes again, we're going to season the soup. So we've got a good consistency here. There's a trick I learned a long time ago that differentiates between a soup and a sauce. And I don't know how well we'll be able to get in here, but when you ladle your soup, if it stands on top of itself at all, if it makes a little pile such as that one right here, you have a sauce. You don't have a soup. So what you want to do is add liquid until the texture lays smooth onto the surface. So we're going to add a little bit of water to this. The reason why we do water is because we want to not mask the ingredients that we're using in our soup. So if I put vegetable stock, you're going to taste the vegetables. If I put water in it, you're just going to taste the carrot, ginger, and onion that we put in there, which is our intention. So our consistency is nice. It lays flat on the top of the soup, so we have a soup. Now, you want to balance it right at the end. So like, you don't want to just add a bunch of water and have it just fall apart. So you really want to just adjust with the water and make sure it's just not staying on top. Now, for a little spice and age, time is very important for food. A lot of people don't think that time is an ingredient, but it is. It's something that you should be aware of. A lot of things that we do together, like fresh tomato, fresh mozzarella, we put aged balsamic on it. There's a lot of balance to time when it comes to food that a lot of people don't appreciate. When you go out there, you'll understand. Fresh fried fries have aged ketchup. A lot of these different pairings are out there. So what we're doing is we have a nice fresh onion, carrot, ginger, water. We're going to add malted ingredients like Worcestershire and Tabasco to add a little bit of age, or history as I like to call it, into food. So we put a little bit of Tabasco and a little bit of Worcestershire. Be careful with the Worcestershire. Some brands contain anchovy, which can take away from it being vegan, this is a vegan soup. It's also gluten-free as well. So we've done our final seasonings. We're going to adjust with salt, and then we're going to taste it to whatever your preference is. If you're low sodium, put less. If you like a lot of salt, put a little bit in there. So that's our carrot ginger soup here at Erna's Elderberry House. Again, that's located on our to-go menu. We're doing curbside right now from 4 to 7. You can place your orders anywhere from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So again, Monday through Friday, we'll be serving food curbside. And we also have a limited grocery market list that we're providing as well. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll give you all the information online for the recipe and both our curbside menu. Thank you. Have a great day.